What's up, my lovely Bumbarinas and Bumbarinas? Lammnese is back today with the second episode of Theory Crafting. And today we want to talk about new rune sets, which I came up with. I mean, sure, there's maybe someone in the internet who already has thought about this topic and posted it, but I don't care. So I'm making a video about it, and yeah. The main purpose I have with the new rune sets is something that can compete with violent runes. Like, violent runes are really nice, they are really OP, but I don't think they should be nerfed any further. I mean, they have been nerfed like 1 year ago, 1.5 or 2 years ago, and I think they're good as they are now, and I don't think they should be removed or nerfed any further. I think instead of nerfing the violent runes, give us some alternative rune sets which are as strong as violent runes, maybe even stronger. Like, why not bringing something OP in the game? Like, if you bring something positive in the game, like, everyone could benefit of it. I think that's really nice, so you can, like, everyone can progress faster, and I think that's a good thing. So yeah, but without any further ado, let's start with the first rune set, which is the harm set, as I would call them. And it's a 4 pieces rune set, and it gives it increases the harmful effect rates by 25%. What does that mean? Like, let's say for example your Galleon does time to loot but is honor skilled. He has a 75% chance to trigger that skill, right? To apply that armor break, apply that harmful effect. So with this rune set, it will be 100%. Pretty nice, and you could use them like for every monster. Let's see, Verumos, for example. I think the stun rate is 30%. The harmful effect chances go up to 55%, so he becomes even a greater stunner. Or anything else, like a Daughter, which only dots with, like, let's say 30%, it goes up to 55%. Or anything else, which, like, any harmful effect, like weakening effect and inability effects. So even the Virat freeze will be increased with this rune set. So it's not only weakening effects, but inability effects too. So any harmful effect will be applied with the addition of 25% chance. I think that's a great rune set. So some monsters, even 3 stars, which are like lurking in the shadows and can't show their full potential because Comtours didn't give them the right stats, like defense monsters who scale with which scale with attack, or HP monsters that scale with attack but has some really nice let's say harmful effects they do, but on a really low chance or anything. They could benefit from this because they won't benefit from violent or despair, because like, you can go 10 turns if you don't proc your skill, like your harmful effect. What does it help you? Like, it's stupid. It won't help you. So this gives you this monsters a chance to be more stable and more reliable. And I think some monsters will benefit from it and be like, just can be the star. Like, they can start shining. And yeah. That's for the first set, the harm runes. Then we have a, I would say, similar rune set. It's the activation rune set. It's a 4-piece rune set, and it increases the activation chance of it increases the activation chance by 25%. What do I mean with activation chance? Let's say Faye. It has a 25% chance to activate the ignore defense on the skill. It's not a harmful effect, it's just the effect. And with this rune set, you can increase that effect chance by 25%. So Faye would go with 50% chance ignore defense on per hit, which would make her much more reliable. Like, she's a great monster, don't get me wrong, she can be OP as fuck, but if you're not such a lucky person and RNG doesn't swing in your favor, like in cases like me, where people who have really bad luck, and you won't get that that ignore defense proc, you know it, at least, especially when you really need it. Maybe on defense it's another thing. Like we all know, if you put a monster on defense, it goes crazy. Like my Theomos on offense never procs, like really never. I've never seen my Theomos proc. But if you go against the Theomos, you know that story. Like the story is as old as Come to Us is, but like this is like the legend of Summoner's War. Theomos on defense will always proc, no matter what. Like you see a stunned Theomos and you can put another Theomos, like there's no difference. They will both kill you. Yeah, and yeah, I think that's a pretty nice rune. You could say, man, that's making some monsters really OP. Yeah, but violent runes do the same. Like a Perna without violent isn't scary for me, but with violent, you know that fucking bird is gonna proc the shit out of you. Like there's certain monsters, like they're so OP on violent, and I think giving other monsters to the chance to being on the same level with this monsters is really nice. And since it's a 4 pieces set, you can combine it with other OP sets. I think that's pretty balanced in my perspective, but you have to implement it and see if it really is. So for the third set, it's the Angel set, and it's a 4-piece set, and it gives you a 20% chance to revive at the moment of death. So like a Perna passive, but yeah, it's technically a Perna passive, but only with a 20% chance. So you die, and you have a 20% chance to revive yourself with I don't know if it should be 100% HP. I think it should, because how should I put it? It's only a 20% chance, and a 20% chance just to revive with 30% HP. We all know that's the problem of most revivers. You revive a monster with 30% HP, it's gonna die the next turn if you can't protect it. It's like, we all know it's not gonna work that way. So I think it should be like the Perna skill. Like you die, you get the same amount of attack bar you had on the moment of death, plus 100% HP back. So another life, technically, but with a 20% chance. You could say 20% chance, is that worth it? If you, like, the runes don't have a cooltime. If you die on the second turn, like you die once, on the second time you die and you revive again, it's like 3 lives. And you can say, what is more worth it, like proccing violent and killing something in 1 turn, or reviving and killing everyone in 3 turns? Like, I don't think it's too OP. And like I said, my intention with this runes is to bring something that can compete with violent runes. Yeah. The number 4 is Chaos Rune Set. It's a 4-piece rune set, and it inflicts a random harmful effect with a 25% chance with your skills. So pretty good for AoE monsters. Like let's say Lucian does amp magic, and on every hit on every monster he has a 25% chance to do a random harmful effect. So not a weaken effect, and harmful effect. It can be stun, freeze, glance, defense break, attack break, dot, whatever, glancing hit, like anything that it's red and that can be above the enemy. I think that could be pretty awesome, because it gives some RNG to the game, because you don't know what you get and the enemy doesn't know what to get. It's like a mini Orion. Like it's kind of Orion's harmless prank, and we all know harmless prank changed the game so much. Like it's a really annoying skill, but if you use it yourself, it's really fun to use. I think that's something really nice to play with and make any monster unpredictable. Like you could go with a 3-star, which was pretty meh, but with this rune set it can be really nice. Yeah. The next rune set splash runes, 4 pieces rune set, and it inflicts 10% of the damage as splash damage to all enemies. What does that mean? You attack Theomas with your first skill, do, let's say, 30k, because you have armor break and attack buff and speed buff. You do 30k on the target, so you do on all other targets 10%, so 3k. It's not that much for one turn, but it can add up. Like if you violent proc and so on, it will be like, it's true damage, it won't be reduced. Like ignore defense damage. I think that would be pretty strong. Yeah, but you can't violent proc. Yes, you cannot violent proc because it's a 4 pieces rune set, but I think that would be great, especially for AoE monsters. I don't know how the details should be with the rune set. Let's say my worries are like, if you're using your Lucian and you're doing 10% splash on everyone, like that's a total amount of 30%. Yeah, 30% on everyone, or even more, because you hit the first target, everyone gets 10%, and the other ones, you know what I mean? Like the right target gets attacked with one card, it splashes to all 3 others. The same time, the left target gets with the first card attacked, and the splash damage goes to everyone else. So it would add up and stack to too much damage. I think it should be something like it should only trigger it should not stack with other splash effects. Like something like this should be added. The same as like Darian's passive and Dia's passive don't work together, but any other monster can benefit from it. Like only one will trigger, and that should be the case. Like only one hit should trigger the damage. So let's say all 4 cards go out, all 12 cards, because 3 cards for 4 targets in arena, and it should be like splashing 10%, 10%, 10%, so everyone can only get like a maximum amount of 30% of the damage, which is already a lot, because your Lucian will hit for, like if it's say 10k per card, it's 30k on every target, and that would make like 9k on addition to that, so 40k. Only like really huge tanks would live through that, and I think it would be a must-have for Lucian, and make Lucian too strong. Like there should be some kind of restriction, but overall, like the general idea of the runes, like splash damage, so making everyone a mini AoE monster. But with AoE monsters there should be like some restrictions, but not too hard. I think AoE monsters should benefit from it, but not as like in my example, like Lucians with multi-hitting plus all enemies, it would be too OP. Maybe only like with one hit, like 10% for the first card, so everyone only gets 3k bonus damage, and that's all. Maybe something like this, but yeah, the general idea, splash damage, I think that would be great. So I think this was the last 4 pieces rune set. Now we're going for the 2 pieces rune set, and the first piece is the attack runes, which increase the attack power for 1 turn, like the same like the will runes. They give immunity buff for 1 turn, and this one gives you attack buff. Why is this something I want in the game? Because me myself, I haven't had the Galleon for the longest time. On my second account I don't even have a Galleon, and I don't even have an AoE armor breaker. So it's like really hard if you don't have Galleon to make any wombo combo work, because you need the attack buff and armor break, AoE attack buff and armor break. But if you could give your damage dealing unit an attack rune, and have like a lure or the dark serpent, what's the name, Mentora, and you have an AoE armor breaker, that's enough. You can go with an attack buff buffer, and you have like some sort of Galleon wombo combo type of combo. And I think that would make wombo combos more accessible for other people. Yeah, and if you go like full attack set, of course you get attack buff for 3 turns, the same as you will get from will runes. Yeah. The second rune set, of course, the same with defense. Like defense runes, they give you defense buff for 1 turn. Same for crit rate runes, they give you crit rate buff for 1 turn. Then we have speed runes. I think they can change the meta. Like they give you speed buff for 1 turn. So you can either go on your Bernard or Tiana, you could go swift will, or you could go swift speed if you're confident to outspeed the enemy. And I think that's pretty great, and I don't think that would be OP, because even if you get a full speed set, it doesn't mean you get 90% speed. It only is like a 3 turn speed buff. So I don't think that would make it too OP, but help other people which have like a good nuker with too low speed. They can give this rune set to them and get like on average 30 speed, which is really nice and help especially in dungeon. I think this runes will help you out in dungeons, because I don't know, but do will runes keep casting the will effect on every stage? I haven't tried it yet, and I've never paid attention to it, but yeah. Then we have the anti-crit runes. They grant anti-crit buff for 1 turn. You could say who needs anti-crit, but if you go for like shield wheel anti-crit, like it can fuck up most of the combos like on turn 1. Like, sure, they can go with the Tiana, then you are fucked, but then you are fucked anyway. You don't have a chance against the Tiana. So but for any other stripper, they could fail, and you have the anti-crit buff, the will runes and the shield. I think that could be pretty tough to kill you on turn 1. Yeah. Then something I think can be OP, but yeah, the invincibility buff, like the Invincible set. It's a two pieces set and gives you invincible buff for 1 turn. Why is that necessary? I think invincible buff, like for, let's say, Katarina comps, you can go with other things. You are not limited to like QB and Chloe, or like some other limited monster that can do the job, but you can give it to your Chloe and to your Katarina, and then use other comps and be more creative. That would make Katarina much stronger and bring her back to the game, because there are so many alternatives right now that can do the job Katarina does, and she's too random and can fuck up so hard. Yeah, you could give her like 3 invincible rune sets and make her invincible for 3 turns. I think that's pretty nice, and I don't think invincible buff is so OP without the immunity buff, because like you can stun, you can weaken attack, you could go with glancing. If you outspeed, you could just strip it. So I don't think that would be too OP. It would be annoying, but I don't think it would break the game. Then the next 2 pieces rune set is Provoke set. Your attacks provoke the enemy with a 10% chance. Yeah, I think that would be nice for QA and stuff like that. So you could go and give your tanks like full Provoke set, like any monster you want, and they would provoke the enemy with a 30% chance, because 3 rune sets. I don't think that would be too OP. It would be nice to play, or go with like an offset Provoke, and just for the chance, like 10% chance. I don't think that would be too OP. I wouldn't go higher, because if you go like 15% or something, like a full set would be 50 or 100%. I think that would be too strong for a 2 pieces rune set. Yeah, maybe 12%, so you get 36. It's close to 40. But I wouldn't go much higher to leave some RNG to it. But it could save asses in some situations, and I think some people would have some uses for this. Yeah, let's get this one. I need some despair runes for some monsters I want to ruin. They don't have to be high quality, but yeah. Yeah, that's the Provoke set. Then we have the Might set. which increases all stats by 7%. It's a 2 pieces rune set, so you can get a total of 21% on all of your stats. Then you could say, man, that's too OP. Like you can go Fatal, which only gives 35, I think, and other rune sets they only give like 30. Yeah, and this one gives you 21% on all if you go 3 of them. Yeah, but keep in mind, if you go 3 rune sets on might runes, you can't go anything else, so you will only have the stats. And I think that's a rune set which will help more the newer players than the endgame players, because the endgame players can get most of the stats from their rune quality, and they will go for set effects and not for stats. But for mid-game players or like even beginners, it could be a nice rune set to help to progress, and it's like makes your rune requirements overall a little bit lower, because you get speed, you get accuracy, resistance, crit rate, crit damage, yeah, speed, defense, attack, and so on, HP, all by 21% if you go full might rune set. And I think it would make some people think, maybe I should go like my Lucian for might set and not for rage, so he doesn't hit that hard, but he's maybe faster or more tanky, and I want that, or like something like this. And I think that could be like not a game-changing rune set, but something a lot of people would appreciate and would like to rune their monsters with. Like even you could go offset rune set, like 7% on all your stats. Like when I say 7%, sure, like it multiplies with the main stats, and crit rate, accuracy, and for crit damage and resistance, they get like added by 7%. So if you had 50% crit damage with this one rune set, you get 57. Like that's all, not like 7% on. Like if you don't have anything, it would not you would not benefit from it. Yeah. Then we have the Absorb rune set. It's a 2 pieces rune set, and it absorbs 7% attack bar. I think this could be used on some monsters which would be much stronger, like Hua, which reduce attack bar, and no, it takes more attack bar, which it can use for itself, and it's a really fast monster, generally runed really fast, so it could benefit more and get much more turns and be even much more useful than she is now. And she's not the only example, like there are other monsters which could make use of this, especially like multi-hitters on the first skill. Like imagine the fire homie, which attacks 4 times with the first skill and absorbing like 28% attack bar. I think that's huge, and you could go like 3 sets, so you get 21% attack bar. Imagine for 4 hits, it's like 80% attack bar on the first skill. But yeah, that skill doesn't do a lot of damage, so it's only a utility thing, and this is only a 1 target monster. So yeah, I think these runes are really strong. Like they don't seem strong and they don't like look strong on the first sight, but I think if you go deeper in it and combine it with other skills, passives, and whatever, it can become a really strong rune set and a game changer. I would like to see, and of course it helps you progressing in the game. Then the last rune sets, it's the Fire, Water, Wind, Light, and Dark rune sets, which reduce the receiving damage from fire, water, etc. Monsters by 10%. So the same as the Wind Serpent passive, which reduces incoming fire damage monsters from attacks from fire monsters by 50%, but this rune set will only give 10%. It's a 2-piece rune set, so you could go maximum amount of 30% per element. Yeah, I think you could go like if you would like go for the Wind Monkey, give your Wind Monkey this runes, and they should not be affected by passives. Like monkeys damage reduction won't stack with similar effect, but I think they should exclude this rune set. So if you like to go a heavy water team but you want to counter the illusions which are incoming, or the Katarinas, you could go wind set, full wind set on your teams and reduce the damage by 30%, or like do 2 wind set and 1 nemesis or whatever. You could combine it and just reduce the damage. Or let's say for your dragons team which gets wiped because you're trying to speed it and this one hit you just can't survive it. Maybe if you go for fire sets, you can reduce the damage and survive one hit to barely do the dungeon. And I think it's not an OP rune set. They are not much benefit, I would say, but there are other rune sets which are currently in the game which doesn't benefit other all monsters more. But yeah, it would be something new, something you could use like to counter a specific element, or like, yeah, or like for the rift dungeons you could go and give your teams like this rune set, so you can beat the rift dungeon and get the 500 extra bonus. So maybe you deal like a total of 100% 100k damage less, but with this rune set you survive, so you get the 500k from beating the dungeon, so you gain 400k damage more. So I think there are some usage for this kind of runes. Yeah guys, that's all for today. I've talked so much, man. My mouth is so dry now. It's like, yeah, but it's theory crafting. I made this series so I could talk with you, discuss with you guys, and I think that's a really interesting topic. And yeah, I want to hear your ideas, like what kind of runes would you like to see in the game? You have other ideas, or did you came up with the same ideas as me and would like to see something of this in the game? Then spread word, share it, whatever. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe guys, it really helps me. I appreciate it a lot, and I see you in the next video guys. Bye.